Harsh critic says wallets are closed. Aaron Fisher claims Superman's a flop, but the numbers, the fan reactions, and the future of the DCU tell a very different story. Let's talk. Hey, welcome back to Only Nerdy Gaming, where pixels, popcorn, and plot twists collide. If it's got lasers, loot boxes, or Lex Luthor, you know we're going to talk about it. Harsh critic says wallets are closed. Aaron Fisher claims Superman is a flop. It seems that in certain parts of the internet, no matter where you look, it's the same recycled talking points. James Gunn is failing, David Cornsweat isn't marketable, and the DCEU is supposedly dead on arrival, blah blah blah. But if you stop listening to the echo chamber, the noise, and actually look at the numbers, the audience reactions, and the bigger picture of what DC Studios is building, the story is very different. Let's break this down piece by piece, shall we? First, this claim that David Cornsweat isn't marketable worldwide. That argument isn't new. We've heard it word for word after Man of Steel when Henry Cavill first appeared as Superman. Back then, these same critics said he'd never lead a franchise, that audience wouldn't connect with him, that Warner Brothers would quietly recast. But what actually happened? Cavill went on to star in Batman v Superman, Justice League, various cameos, and became one of the most beloved modern portrayals of Superman. He grew into the role because the studio gave the films time to breathe and build an audience. That's how franchises work. Unfortunately, those sets of films struggled to catch ground, and they failed. Studios don't greenlight sequels a few weeks after release. They don't hold a press conference mid-run just to calm online rumors. They wait. They look at the complete box office numbers, international growth, the streaming and digital performance, and merchandise sales before making billion-dollar franchise decisions. Silence isn't failure, it's just the normal process of running a studio. Now let's talk about this so-called strategy to tank Supergirl. Harsh critics and others are telling fans to boycott every future DC movie until Warner Brothers gives them exactly what they want: the Snyderverse restored. They somehow believe that destroying a new universe will somehow force the studio to bring Snyder back. Guys, that's not how this works. If you love Superman, Supergirl, Batman, if you want DC films to thrive, why would you deliberately burn down an entire franchise? The reality is, if fans actively sabotage every Warner Brothers superhero movie, they're not sending a message of strength to Warner Brothers. They're showing there's no audience for these characters at all. No studio looks at a failing franchise and says, well, let's take an even bigger risk on an old plan we abandoned years ago and try it again. They just cut funding, scale back productions, and let the brand fade away. If you really want Snyder's universe to have a chance to return someday in one medium or another, you need a strong DC brand that proves audiences still care about these characters as a whole and Superman and his world. Actively rooting for every DC movie to fail guarantees that the exact opposite will happen. Now, Aaron Fisher's box office breakdown sounds like a takedown, but it's built on misleading numbers. He claims Superman only sold 40% of the tickets Man of Steel did because ticket prices have doubled since Man of Steel in 2013. But that's simply not true. Ticket prices haven't doubled. Sure, inflation and premium formats like IMAX and Dolby Cinema have pushed costs up 30 to 40%, but that's not 100%. When you look at the actual data, Superman is pacing ahead of Man of Steel globally at this same point in its release window. On top of that, this new Superman film has even stronger audience scores and better word of mouth than Man of Steel did. Kevin Smith literally saw it twice in one day and cried about it during his YouTube episode, talking about how much it moved him. That's not an isolated case. This movie is getting repeat viewings and garnering genuine enthusiasm that Man of Steel struggled to capture. And here's another thing that Aaron leaves out. Box office success today isn't just about raw ticket count. It's about theatrical performance, plus streaming revenue, international market growth, physical sales, and how it strengthens future DC projects. A modern blockbuster like this is part of a long-term franchise plan. Even if it doesn't hit $1 billion in theaters, it can still be financially successful when the revenue streams are accounted for from all sources. The other big talking point is No sequel means flop. People act like if Warner Brothers doesn't immediately announce Superman 2, it's proof the movie failed. Man of Steel didn't get Man of Steel 2. Guardians of the Galaxy didn't get an instant sequel. That's not how studios operate anymore. Marvel waited to see the complete numbers and audience reception before greenlighting Volume 2. Right now, Warner Brothers already has Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Batman the Brave and the Bold, and several other DCU films officially on the slate. That's a clear sign of confidence in the direction James Gunn is building. Sequels get announced after a full evaluation, not based on Twitter debates and opening month box office snapshots. So here's the truth most of these critics don't want to admit. Superman isn't a billion-dollar juggernaut, but it's absolutely not a flop. The movie is performing solidly, winning over general audiences and doing exactly what it needs to. Rebuild the Superman brand and lay the foundation for a connected DC universe. Fans are reconnecting with Superman in ways we haven't seen since Christopher Reeve. Theaters are filled with kids in capes again. People are cheering during iconic moments, and critics are praising the tone and heart of this new DCU. That's what success looks like when you're relaunching a cinematic universe from scratch. Rooting for failure, keeping wallets closed, trying to tank Supergirl, spreading bad fake box office math, that doesn't save DC. It slams the door shut on Superman's future and makes it harder for any version of the Snyderverse to ever return. If you genuinely love these characters, support the films that do them justice. Critique the ones you don't like, demand better when it's earned, but stop pretending that tearing it all down is somehow heroic. It's not. Just making sure we never get the Superman stories fans claim that we've been waiting for.